Welcome to the Home Button Podcast, home of the Home Button Podcast, and also this channel, this other different channel that is now home to the Home Button Podcast because I didn't know it would just go up like a regular video. I didn't want it to do that. I wanted this to be a thing on the side. I didn't want I don't want to put people's subscription boxes in jeopardy every single week. You know, this just goes up. It's just like, it's not really, it's not really all that. You know what I mean? Anyway, hello. I'm your host, Tevlev, and this week I actually have an actual co-host who is not in here yet. You know, the way this works is that they knock on the door and I let them in because this is the Home Button Podcast. It's like a house. That's what I'm getting at. But actually, I just move them into the room. So let's go ahead and move them in. Hello. Hi, it's me, Tevlev. Oh my God, what a show. I'm so happy to have you on. I'm happy to be on too. Why am I awkward talking to myself? That's what I would say. What a mess. Anyway, we're going to make this easy for you today, listener. I don't have any stories to tell, I don't think. Do I ever have stories ready to go? No. I have no stories ever. It just kind of all happens. I just kind of dump it all. You know, maybe Home Button Podcast isn't a good name. Is it too late to change the name? How about, wait a minute, we're 1 minute and 56 seconds in. We have to wait till 2 minutes. How about Shitty Podcast? That's my idea. You know, it's really not good for the algorithm to say all these bad words and within 2 minutes of the video going up. You know, it's not good for advertisements. It's not good for blah, blah, blah. Now, this is on a side channel, so there shouldn't be ads anyway. Because in the past, I would turn off ads for videos and stuff, and well, it doesn't really. I don't think they promote or recommend your video if it's not making money. You know. Now, if you look at the YouTube creator videos, those are fun, dude. Those are fun. I just realized how fun those videos are because they're always so awkward. Anyway, they tell you, the official YouTube support people, that's what I'm getting at. They will tell you they will tell you, hold on, I almost got it. They will tell you whatever video keeps you on the platform is something that they recommend. They consider a good video. You know, like if you keep watching, then it's good. You know, that's important to them. But like, they could also recommend a video to you that makes money. I don't know. Just maybe ignore that comment, okay? Because I'm not really an expert on it. I just make the best content that I can, which also is the best content on the platform. I can only do so much. I am only human, but that is what I do. Speaking of, I release a new video today. It comes out tomorrow, so it's not actually out yet. I don't have any of the fan feedback from my fans telling me it's a Pikmin 2 video, you know, highly requested by my fans. I actually want to talk about the word fans in a second because I say that ironically, but Pikmin 2, that's quite the game. You can go watch all my thoughts on it because it is such a good game and with a lot of waiting. So much waiting. Like, why didn't they see that as a problem? Just to sum up my complaint on it, because I didn't think I really touched on it. What? I don't think I really touched on it in the video because I'm too busy being tortured. Basically, in Pikmin 1, you have all this area to explore. It's all there. There's no little sub-levels that stop time. The game's actually about time. There is a time limit. It wants you to move fast, and it naturally encourages you to go fast because there's a time limit. But like, you don't have to wait when playing Pikmin 1 because this is going to sound like elitist gamer talk, but You don't if you're sitting there waiting for your Pikmin to do something, if you're just watching them carry something back, you're not playing the game right, unless you're having fun. If you're sitting there complaining that it's boring, we go multitask, do something else, come up with a better plan. Okay, you can't just blame the game. But with Pikmin 2, there is no other plan that you can make. You kill all the enemies in a cave, and then you get all the treasure. Because that's the dominant strategy. Because you try to get the treasure before you kill the enemies, then random stuff will start happening. You kind of need to explore the whole cave first. Also, make sure no bombs fall from the sky. So maybe you want to hit all those triggers, right? I don't know. I don't know. That's it. That's all the stuff that I didn't say that I wanted to say. I mean, you don't really need to. I actually did complain the entire time about that, but I didn't say it. I was yelling it. Um, Here's the thing with YouTube content, guys. Uh, it's funny when you're making a video, you are kind of compelled to give like a wrap up summary. I feel like you kind of learn that in like language arts class when you're a kid. Like you were writing essays and stuff. Like in your closer, like you kind of like summarize it, but like why? You're not saying anything new. Like a review, right? You give a whole review. It's like a review video, it's like a game or a movie, and then you just sum it up at the end. Like, yeah, I was there. I was there for the whole thing. Because I was wrapping it up and summarizing my thoughts on the game at the end, but that was edited out by my editor Norbert. I should get Norbert on here, except I wouldn't because he's no fun. Anyway, I have a new topic of the day here. We actually are going to talk about. Oh, what are we going to talk about today? What have I been up to? Oh, I don't want to talk about what I've been up to. I guess we'll just sit here. How come you don't ever think of anything? Or maybe you have. I should go to my comments and whoops, that was me speaking if you heard that. The thing that might be a fun thing to discuss is what no one really had much to say. But we do have some haters in the comments that disagreed with my opinion on Deku Link being a character added to Smash. Said he would be fun. Yet this commenter is not too big of a Zelda fan, but I love the weirdo pick characters. Smash needs more unexpected picks. People always root for Geno and such. And when he gets announced eventually, it's going to be kind of like, oh, he's finally in. All right, well, that's funny. Geno and Smash. This is a gaming podcast. You can tell because the name of the podcast is named after a button on a controller. Okay, so Geno and Smash, that's the weird thing, guys. Is that really an expected pick? Because I think it's pretty dumb. I think it's pretty dumb to put in Geno before the remake. They are remaking Mario RPG, which is the first and only game Geno was in. Do not tell me Geno was in Mario Superstar Saga for the Game Boy Advance. Don't tell me that. That barely counts. He was in it in the corner in a mini game for 5 seconds. He's not a character in the game, He was also in Smash Ultimate as a spirit, if you're going by that logic. You son of a bitch. Don't tell me that. Sometimes you can be so frustrating. I don't want to give you a hard time, but he was not in Mario Superstar Saga, really. He wasn't really in it. Anyway, Geno. If you're still like kind of clamoring for Geno and Smash in 2023 or 22 or 21 or 20, literally any time after Brawl came out, it's like enough with Geno. He was in a game in like 1996, 95, and he was a supporting character. Like, give it a break. Stop. Don't ask for Gino in Smash. Ask for Gino in a Mario game. That's what I want. I want him more to be in a new Mario game than in Smash. You know? I want him to be in Mario Kart. I think it'd be great if he was just part of the cast, the like the Mario cast. Like he was sort of like a Toadsworth type or like a Toadette. Even though Nintendo they don't do a good job at keeping their characters consistent. Like where is Toadsworth? Did he die? Where's he been? What's the last game Toadsworth was in? Let me use my computer to look it up. So, according to Mario Wiki, it was Mario and Luigi Dream Team from 10 years ago, not including cameos, such as, he was, I think it just said, I literally was looking at it a second ago, but now I can't, or else it'll stop recording, which is funny. So basically, it stopped recording for like 10 seconds. Anyway, not including cameos like Smash Ultimate. He was like a spirit or, a trophy in Smash 4. Like, nobody cares about that. That's not interesting. That's not fun. What's fun is that he had a supporting role in Mario and Luigi Dream Team, which is everyone's favorite Mario and Luigi game, right, guys? So that was like 10 years ago. All right, so he must have died. He must have passed on. Birdo, they just kind of forgot about Birdo for like 10 years, right? And then, like, she came back in Mario Kart. It's like, okay, why did she go away? Like you can really capitalize on like the trans rights movement, because if you recall, Birdo is a trans character, supposedly according to the manual of Super Mario Brothers 2, but it sort of explained it in a non-modern way that what does it say? Birdo is a boy but thinks he's a girl and prefers to be called Birdetta. Now, no one calls Birdo Birdetta, so not even Birdo calls herself Birdetta, Birdo. That's what Birdo says. That's how you know. Birdo doesn't talk, you might say, but she does. Birdo. She actually says, let's see. She used to talk, though. She definitely used to talk because in Mario Tennis on the 64, if you remember, use your brain on this one. She said she would just like she had a normal voice. But she talked like normal, right? And then there was the Game Boy Advance remake of Mario 2. Obviously, that's her first appearance on the NES counterpart. But in the GBA version, she spoke just like the other characters. Mario would pick up a cherry and he would say, just what I needed, right? Luigi would say, he would say lucky, but it sounded more like lucky, lucky. That's what he sounds like. Birdo, you encounter her boss fight, and she would say, "This is as far as you go." This is as far as you go, she would say, just in that voice. So it's a little weird that Birdo would talk. I believe Yoshi also spoke in the cartoon. Everyone considers the cartoon canon. I'm pretty sure Mario canon is very straightforward, very sensical and sensible and senseful. Senseful. That should be a real word. Anywho, you know who else makes content I've been thinking about recently? I actually just posted like a meme of his because he posted something. Nikado Avocado, is that his name? He's that big, great, fat guy who eats the entire menu of McDonald's in one sitting, and he's sitting there crying, and it's weird because people hate on this guy. What did he do? I asked this question like on a stream like 2 years ago, and people said that he wastes food. I don't watch his videos; they're disgusting. But I don't know. Does he waste food? I thought he ate the whole thing. I thought he ate 5 Papa John's pizzas in 20 minutes or whatever. Here I am thinking he ate it. That's not being a glutton isn't wasteful technically. But I think he's an artist because he is. He considers himself an artist because he is. Okay. The art he makes is not his content, but people's reactions. The fact that people hate on this man, but he didn't do anything. He's just a big, great, fat guy. And he's weird and he cries and he yells. He does sort of disturb the peace a little bit when he goes out in public on his little motor scooter. But, that's not that bad. People do that as a joke. The streamer what's his name? Wubby. His name is Wubby, you know? I saw a TikTok he uploaded where he said, he pretended to be in a wheelchair, and he went to try to get a discount on some jewelry, I think, some discount on something. So he strolled in, on a wheelchair. His friends were pushing him around, and then, like, the joke was, like, he left in the wheelchair and then came back, I think after he bought it or some he was walking around like, "Alright, thanks for the thing," or whatever. He got his money. I don't know. But I always thought, like, people it's funny when people say, "In a wheelchair." In a wheelchair doesn't mean you're sitting in a wheelchair, because he said in his little voiceover, like, uh, "I pretended to be in a wheelchair to whatever," but, like, you're not pretending to be in a wheelchair. You're actually in the wheelchair, so you're not pretending to sit in the wheelchair. Are you sitting in an invisible wheelchair? You know, it just in a wheelchair means physically handicapped, you know? That's the thing. It's just a weird, like, little semantical thing in the English language, you know? Just a little funny thing. I was, like, cracking up when I thought about that, like, in a wheelchair, like, you know? Just something about in a wheelchair was, like, cracking me up. Anyway, I actually, record these podcast segments on Adobe Podcast Beta. I talked about it last time, but it's a useful, dev application, but it is a little weird because it does stutter every once in a while. I need to stop recording and then re-record. Let me tell you about a pet peeve of mine relating to this, because I just kinda gave into my pet peeve a little bit. I peeved myself in a petty way, which is what a pet peeve means, you know? You ever have anything that's like a peeve? You know what I mean? Like, people's pet peeve is like a real peeve, you know? Like, oh, it's just a pet peeve of mine when people like steal from poor families. That's such a peeve of mine. Pet peeve, they would say. You know, it's like, well, that's not really a pet peeve. Pet peeve, something that bothers you in a petty way. It's a pet. No one says pet. Like, that's sort of like an outdated sort of fossil word. Okay, it's a fossil word. Pet, to describe it in such a way. Not pet like your dog. Pet as in like like petty. Okay, you get what I'm saying. Um, whatever. Shut up. I'm telling myself to shut up. This pet peeve I'm talking about is when a YouTuber, I haven't seen this in like a long time, but I felt like I used to see it a lot more, but that could have been like confirmation bias. But I think about it. I just haven't seen it. I would definitely remember it if I saw it recently. Anyway, it's when the video starts and they say, "All right, this is the second time I'm recording this because it didn't work the first time," or something like that, or, you know, "This is my third time trying this." Uh, and that's annoying. I don't like that. Just sets the wrong tone at the beginning. Like, okay, that doesn't really affect me. If you tried to record this 10 times, I don't really care. I'm just the viewer, all right? Shouldn't be the viewer's job to worry about you, buddy. Just start the damn video. You wasted 5 seconds saying that, right? Oh my god, what a mess. I'm trying to talk about Geno and Smash. I want to talk more about Smash, guys. Because there are a lot of characters. I've briefly mentioned this in some old video somewhere, something. Geno is an outdated character. He will not be added into Smash unless he is added in like some other game, you know? He just won't be added in because he's not like a popular character. There's uh okay, like people might point out like they might add Geno because look, they added these other fan favorite characters, okay? Some of these characters weren't added in for dumb reasons, okay? Like Ridley, this all I'm gonna blame Alpharad on this, you know? I'm putting Alpharad on. I'm putting him up to blame because, um, okay, you know, I mean, he was, you know, he's a smart guy, you know, he appeals to the masses, he panders and all that. He knows what he's doing. He's a smart guy. But the thing is, he for his reaction to the Ultimate trailer, like the first Ultimate trailer. Ridley was announced alongside that. And he's like, "Oh, I guess Ridley memed his way into Smash." And it was really crazy the influence that he had over like a certain part of the Smash community. Because I would watch his videos and then I would see his exact quotes later, like on Reddit or Discord or YouTube comments, or like exactly what he said. It's like he didn't meme his way in. You're telling a joke, and then other people like somehow believe that that's true. He didn't meme his way in. You know, it's just there's a lot of memes about Ridley being too big for Smash. Like it doesn't make sense. Olimar isn't too small for Smash. Ridley works fine. I'm a Ridley player. He works totally fine. It's Ridley. He should have his pogo tail move, but other than that, it's Ridley. And look, he works. You know. I have a fear relating to this podcast. It's a podcast related fear where I'm gonna accidentally like repeat a long winded rant that I've already given, like in the last episode. I'm trying to remember if in the last episode of the Home Button podcast did I talk about, and it's gone. I don't know what I was going to say, so it doesn't matter. Because I've recorded like a couple test runs, and I know I took some stuff out, and like I don't know if because obviously it feels familiar in my brain. Like I know I've said this before. That's what my brain is telling me. But like, was it in a video that was like cut out? This part was cut out. I didn't make it into the full thing, or was did I say this like on Discord or something? I leave a lot of good solid voice memos where I talk about something. It feels familiar. But that's the feeling I'm describing. However, I don't know what I was thinking now at this point. Oh, it was related to yes. The director of Smash Brothers, Mr. Sakurai, Mr. Hiro Sakurai. People are saying, "Hey, this could be the last Smash game." Did I say this before? I don't know. Well, whether or not I say it again or not, it's going to be different. You know what I mean? Because I'm a complex person with complex thoughts. Anyway, was this guy, Mr. Hiro Sakurai? He's responsible for making the Smash series what it is today. It's very popular. It's very good. There's a lot of complaints. There's a lot of nitpicks and pet peeves, and there's a lot of nitpicks. There's a lot of big picks. There's a lot you can complain about. People think Ultimate is trash. It's not trash. I mean, someone who says that must play Melee or something. Anyway, there's a lot of things that are weird about it. For example, the online modes. It's really, really weird how you can, like, okay, there's lag. They didn't design lag. They didn't put more lag into it. I mean, you can look into the data and see that they technically did add lag on purpose, but that's to give it a little bit more stability because there was a mod to get rid of this arbitrary 3-frame buffer or something. Like every match must have like 3 frames or something, even if your connection is good enough with someone to have like 1 frame of lag. But if you try to play with someone who doesn't have like a perfect connection with you, it's going to be super unstable. That's the reason that was added. Okay, I just had to get that out of the way for you. They didn't want it to be like unplayable at times, right? If they had the option to make it perfect with no flaws, of course they would do that. But they had the option to not put in like this weird quick play options. Okay, everyone forgets sometimes that was a conscious decision made by the director that people worship, Mr. Hiro Sakurai. You want to play 1v1, but you get thrown into a free-for-all match, And did they fix the problem with patches? I think they improved it, but also I think as time goes on, less people are wanting to play free-for-alls online. But like if it were an option, I would play free-for-alls more. I really like free for alls. I find them really fun and like it's fun to like mess up a match. It's a fun game. I enjoy all modes in Smash for the most part. That's just where's like the boss rush and stuff like that. Why isn't that a thing? Right? Some people hate like they hate like I said, people call it trash. They complain endlessly about Ultimate, but they also, at the same time, these same people, I'm not generalizing a bunch of people, the same people will worship Sakurai. Like, there's no way it can be replaced. This will be the last game. It's called Smash Ultimate. It's not called Smash Penultimate. It's not the second to last game. It is the last game because of the name. How many games have been called Ultimate? Okay, they made more Marvel vs. Capcom games, at least one that I can recall. Infinite, Ultimate, right, that's what they call it, right? Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3, they made that. I guess it's the ultimate version of MVC 3. Then they made Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. They can just make another Smash. Like, it's okay. Okay, sorry. Let me give you the context on why it bothers me so much. It shouldn't really bother somebody if someone thinks something that they're going to be wrong about anyway when they release a new game. But it's when like people halt. I'm talking about internet discussion, guys. I've never experienced someone like this in person. Oh, if I did. If I did, you would know because I would not be making this podcast. I'd be in prison for life because I would kill that son of a bitch. He would be dead if someone walked up to me and I was like, "Oh, you like Smash? So, and who do you think is going to be added in the next Smash game?" And they said, "No, there won't be another Smash game because it's called Ultimate. And the guy who made the game, he retired. He's not making it anymore." Well, let me enlighten you. Ultimate, it doesn't really matter if it's called Ultimate, and they will just get someone else to make it. Duh. And somebody who might make some good decisions. On top of that, they really just need to not cut any characters. I know that's hard. I know some people are saying, see, this, I feel like I did talk about this in the last podcast because in my test podcast, I talked about this. Let me think. Whatever. People are saying that do they want to gut the roster? They're saying they might do that. This opinion is coming up more and more. This is like the Alfred influence. Like one YouTuber said this. Like they just redo the gameplay, just redo the characters, and cut it down to like 30 characters. Why? Why nobody wants that, right? I would buy it, and even if it's good, like I'm gonna miss Smash Brothers. That's not gonna be Smash Brothers, even if they like, change the gameplay, make it 3D, make it a battle royale. Like, what's the plan? I don't see that working at all. Because it was a big selling point having like 80 or 90 characters or whatever, and then saying like, because that was like in the advertising, that was part of marketing the game, and how are they going to market that? We have 30 total characters. I know that we cut about 50 or 60, but we did the gameplay over. It's better now. Like you can't market that. They need to keep the characters. They're not going to make a Smash game with less characters than the last one. They cannot do that. I think they will make a Smash game in my lifetime with 200 characters. It might sound crazy, but that's my guess. With the advancement of AI programming technology, whether or not you like it, it's going to get used. Yeah, it's just, we live in a crazy world. We live in an insane world. You can't really deny that. Like, if you think like having a video game with 200 characters, like, oh no, that's impossible. And yet, think about it. Think about what actually has happened in real life and that continuously happens. For example, the planets. Apparently, we're going beyond the world. We're talking about the solar system, guys. The planets, they are just these big rocks. Just to really dumb it down, they're just big rocks in space, right? And yet, when they align a certain way, they actually have some invisible energy force that influences human babies on planet Earth. It influences their personality. It determines through this invisible energy field who they're going to be when they grow up. And it continuously influences every single person, uh, how they act and how they feel. Like, that is crazy. This is the study of stars. This is astrology, guys. This is science. See, that's crazy and real, not fake. That is something that is happening. And you're sitting here talking about video games. Okay. I'm talking about real life outer space science. It's not video games on your phone. This is a real thing. I know for a fact I said that last podcast, right? I want to say that once per podcast. It's not video games on your phone. Uh, anyway, another thing that's real. There was a viral video of this woman. This woman was in a viral video. She was on a plane and she was saying, what was she saying? She was freaking out. She was having a meltdown. She was pointing at the back of the plane. It hadn't lifted off yet. Okay. And she delayed the flight like by 2 hours or something. So she was standing in the back and she was like, "There is a man back there. He's not real. There is a man. You're all going to die if you stay on this flight." And, you know, this was posted on the internet on TikTok.com. And you can go ahead and say, "Oh, TikTok is cringe." I'm about to go over the comments on this video, and you're going to say, "Well, yeah, this cringe comments because it's TikTok." But whether or not you like TikTok, in a way, it represents just a base level look into like um just the average person. Like the average person goes on TikTok sometimes. Like same with like it's not like a strong demographic like it used to be. Like it's just very mainstream. It just represents mainstream thoughts sometimes. There's even niches within TikTok. It's not like 4chan or uh Facebook or something. Like people still on Facebook. Like it's a certain type of person. Most people have just kind of left Facebook. And in order to even like find 4chan and to hear about 4chan and be like, "Oh, I hear about stuff that goes on there. And this sounds like a crowd that I can fit in with." So it does, it's not mainstream if it's a certain platform. I'm just saying TikTok is a mainstream platform, so it's going to represent mainstream thoughts. Okay, that's all I'm saying. If you disagree, you can disagree. Anyway, the comment said, again, this woman is just like talking crazy, right? Now, you shouldn't really say the C word, crazy, but, she was acting kind of crazy. Seeing invisible people is, in my humble opinion, it's crazy. Anyway, the comments were like, "She looks really scared. I believe her. If I were on this plane, I would follow her off. I'm not taking my chances." Like, what are you talking about? You really would do that just because that some person looked scared? Like, how many hysterical people have existed in human history? Like people who have had like hallucinations and like actual documented medical proof of this stuff, right? How many of that do you know exists generally? And then how many invisible people have you heard about? Well, that really depends if you believe in ghosts or not. I didn't think ghosts could travel onto planes, but a lot of people believe in ghosts. Personally, I don't. You know, I wouldn't believe in such crazy things, and no offense if you believe in ghosts, because a lot of people are offended at just the thought that others don't believe in ghosts, which it's fair. It's fair to be offended, especially if it comes up in certain ways, because it's not just like differing beliefs, but if you don't believe ghosts are real, then that sort of is implying that what you experienced, your ghost stories, are just invalid. Like, well, you just saw it wrong, you know? Funny story, I actually have a ghost story. As a non-believer, I do have a ghost story. Let me tell it right now. Let's see. I was a child and I was probably 4 or even 3. It's a core memory for me, and I even have, like, I remember it pretty, vividly because I remember I wrote it for, like, a school assignment, in, like, 1st grade or something. So, there is, like, some documented story of this written down. So, anyway, when I was, like, 3 or 4, I would see this, figure, this ghostly figure, um, at the edge of the door frame when I was trying to sleep. Actually, there was in my childhood room, there was a door straight ahead, and to the side, there was a closet. But the closet door, it was weird. I've only seen this in one other house. The closet leads into the other closet in the other room, which is kinda neat, to be honest, but it felt like the longest hallway ever, It was just, like, something creepy about it. Anyway, I would wake up sometimes to see this figure, this ghostly man. He had a trench coat and a hat. The Hat Man. People have seen the Hat Man. It's not just me. The Hat Man. Look up the Hat Man. Uh, so I saw this guy, and I was so scared I couldn't even move, except one time. Like, I mean, it was literally like every couple nights. Like, it's hard to remember exactly how frequent it was because I was so young, but like this guy would be there, the Hat Man. But one time I actually got up. I was no longer petrified with fear. I got up and I ran to the door, like past him. The door was closer to me. And he was still standing in the closet doorway, right? I ran down to alert my parents. They were downstairs watching television. And I went to go tell them, and they have been transformed. These aren't my parents. They have been turned into something else. And I ran back upstairs because they're no help to me. They're all deformed. I ran upstairs, boom, collided directly into the Hat Man, and he got me. Does that sound like it actually happened? We're talking about uh, like a super old memory from a 3 or 4-year-old. No, this is a dream I had. And I know this was a dream because I remember what they turned into, but I didn't want to say until right now. There was these little wooden toys. They were called Little People. They were called the Little People, and you put them in little cars and make them slide down the ramp. They turned into them, right? And I ran upstairs, and that's where the dream ended. He didn't get me, I woke up, and but like, why was I seeing this figure? Well, that was a sleep paralysis. That's what that is. I feel like I still kind of get that, but I don't see anything. I also wear glasses now, so I couldn't see anything even if I wanted to. And it's also completely dark. Anyway, uh, but it's weird though. The thing that's weird, psychologically, it's fascinating that people see the Hat Man. Like it's just like a common thing. But I don't know if people see it as much anymore, or if it was more of a thing like in the 90s and the early zeros. Because there was those neighborhood watch things. This is not my theory, but people say that like stranger danger was it's a good idea to put that in a kid's head that stranger danger is bad, but the villain of stranger danger, like, you're telling them, this is dangerous, stay away from this figure, this is bad. It was like the neighborhood watch silhouette man with like the hat. So that's like the bad guy to like a 4-year-old, you know? I don't remember actually seeing that. So it must have been like, I don't know, you must have just something you forget, you know? 'Cause, man, the type of people to say that, because obviously I'm sitting here trying to think if I ever saw this neighborhood watch thing, you know? But I must have been 2 or 3. I don't even think I was 4 in this memory. So, like, but there are some people who really think like, "No, I don't remember seeing anything like that." Like, someone who's crazy, if I were crazy, I would be like, "No, I definitely didn't see that." You couldn't know. It's like people who believe in the Mandela effect, alternate timeline theory. Okay, Mandela effect, see, that's another interesting phenomenon from a psychological point of view, which is a group of people forgetting one thing. That's interesting. I know I'm getting kinda messy with I'm mixing all of my topics together, but, man, I can talk about the Mandela thing forever. I don't know if I even wanna go down that rabbit hole, but, there are people who really can't live with forgetting something, you know? It's a natural thing as a human being with a human brain to see something and not remember it. Um, for example, the Mandela effect. Tell me right now, does Kit Kat have a hyphen or not? Is Kit Kat the candy brand? Does it have a hyphen? I honestly couldn't tell you. I couldn't tell you if it has a hyphen or not. The same with like the Monopoly Man. Does he have a monocle? Does the Pringles guy have? I don't know, like different eyes. I can't remember. There's a lot of common examples, but it's always like things that are normally in the background, something you don't like spend your whole life looking at. You know, like I feel like maybe the person who maybe there's a oh, to be honest, I don't know the answers to some of those. I don't think the Monopoly guy has a monocle. Like, it's always like the littlest, most forgettable thing in the world. I couldn't tell you if Kit Kat has a hyphen or not. I know I've talked about this, and I've used Kit Kat as an example with people, and I can't remember right now if it does because it's such a little detail. You know, it's not like you're forgetting like if the sky is red or green or blue, right? It's like I could have sworn the sky was pink. And now it's blue? You're telling me it's blue? No, it's always like the things in the background, guys. Anyway, the theory, in case you don't know, is different from the phenomenon. I'm not denying that that exists because it comes from the fact that people, I think mostly Americans, coincidentally, they thought that Nelson Mandela died in prison, but he didn't die in prison because he was released and then became president of South Africa, right? And I feel like they just mixed up stories that they heard, you know, like in the '90s. I think he went to jail in the '90s and he was released from jail, became president, and then died, you know? And like an American, I'm just saying someone who doesn't live in South Africa, like someone not from the country would think like they've heard like 3 things ever from Nelson Mandela. And maybe one of those things is like his cameo in The Hangover. Like in their brain, it's like jail, Hangover, the movie, and, um, died. You know, I think he died in, like, 20 no, wait, when did he die? Did he die in the '90s or, like, early 2000s? Like, I don't know. Either way, you know, they barely know anything about the guy, and then they all mix it together like they haven't thought about it in, like, 10 or 15 years, and it's like, "Oh, yeah, they died in prison," or something like that. I could have sworn he died, but you're just wrong. You have to admit you're wrong. And the theory goes that, like the conspiracy theory, the crazy thing is people think that their brains are connecting to another version of themselves in an alternate parallel timeline where they're remembering the correct memory because they're so sure, they're so positive that Kit Kat has a hyphen that it has to be this insane multiverse theory. I don't think I could talk to a person like that. You have to be completely delusional and live in a fantasy world. I'm kinda crazy too, but I wouldn't believe that. That's insane. As I made this podcast so I can ramble on about things, and I think I'm thinking too hard about it. I took, like, a 2-minute break here between the last thing I said. The last thing I said was, "That's insane." I took a little break. But, yeah, it really is crazy. Ghosts, people who believe in the Mandela effect, multiverse theory, also just star signs too. I was being sarcastic earlier. I said I wouldn't believe that. And I talked about how the planets, affect people's brains. Like the more you think about it, the less it makes sense. There's people who think the Earth is flat because of like two anecdotal pieces of evidence that you can just okay, just because something doesn't seem like that's not the like just because something doesn't seem like that's the case, it doesn't mean that it's not the case. Well, maybe with that logic, maybe invisible people are real. Maybe they do go on the plane. By the way, that plane was fine. Obviously, it didn't crash. But then, of course, because they delayed the flight 2 hours, some commenters were like, maybe she saved the plane. And those people commenting it, they definitely, if they were born in the 1800s or the 1700s, what year was that? If they were born in the 1700s, these TikTok commenters absolutely would have burned many innocent women at the stake because they thought they were witches. I feel like I've said that in the last video or podcast sometime. When did I say that? That's a good saying. These TikTok commenters, they would definitely burn witches. Because that's the thing. Like you think, you read about the Salem witch trials and all that, which wasn't like prehistoric times. That was that should not have been happening at that time period. It was 1800s, right? Yes, it must have been. Yeah, it was 1800s. It wasn't 17. Anyway, I don't know. If I remembered wrong, then I must be, connecting to the wrong Bluetooth universe. Anyway, uh, yeah, you think back, you learn about history of these witch trials, and you're like, how could people believe that? People believe in insane things now. It's just, people aren't burning necessarily. Maybe some people are. I don't know, but like, I don't know, dude. People need to start believing in things that make sense. That's all I'm gonna say, you know. But some people need to believe things, you know. Some people need to believe things, the goodness in the wider universe and a higher being, you know. They need to. That's good. That's good if it works for them, you know. But if you can believe something that's so magical and so bigger than ourselves, it sort of puts the blame and responsibility on someone else that doesn't even exist. The responsibility has to be on the human race, guys, listeners of the Home Button podcast. It has to be on us. We can't leave it up to the universe. We can't leave it up to the. Um, you know what's crazy? I have a Metal Gear Solid 2 poster in here. I was just kind of looking at it while I was talking, and it's framed like a movie poster. And at the bottom, it has the whole cast. It has Hideo Kojima, David Hayter, and all those names. I recognize all those names. Jennifer Hale, remember her? Remember she was in the news because she was like Bayonetta or something? Remember all that weird debacle about the not getting paid? And then it turns out she was just doing a cameo or something like that. What happened with that? I don't know. Either way, sorry about that. People get all offended about, just to be clear here, when people are talking about ghost stories, as someone who doesn't believe in ghosts, I'm keeping my mouth shut. I'm not saying a damn word about ghost stories because I don't have anything to share. Normally it's just something unexplainable, right? Oh, the cups in the kitchen fell down, something like that. Because I do get how you can be offended if someone's just telling you that no, what you saw, what you heard, that's incorrect. Your perception is wrong. People love hearing that, don't they? So I get it. That's why I'm keeping my mouth shut. That's the smartest thing to do in that situation because I believe in social repercussions. That's a real thing. Actually, ghosts aren't real because you're going to come across like that, even though it's the same thing to believe. Anyway, but see, there's a harmless side to it. I'm talking about it like it's like actually like an evil thing. It's not. Not an evil thing, but sometimes you just don't know things. I also feel like I'm kind of offended. I'm kind of offended at just the thought that there are grown adults who exist in this world. Grown adults who can't walk around in their house just because it's dimly lit because they think a ghoul's going to get them. You know? There's no such thing as ghouls or ghosts or cryptids or chupacabras, Bigfoot, aliens. You know what's crazy? I was thinking about aliens. You think aliens have visited Earth? Those UFO videos, like, they're not necessarily aliens, but what could they be? Everyone's seen the UFO video, right? They're almost all fake. And I feel like, well, that's the more plausible thing. UFO aliens are not, uh, you know, ghosts. I think if ghosts were real, I think some sort of technology would be able to sense them. It would just be a regular part of science, because there's a lot of unexplainable things at one time, centuries ago, and then they would later like be discovered. But like, when are we gonna, as a species, invent like a ghost vision goggle set? You know what I mean? I just don't believe in ghosts. Being afraid of the dark. I don't know. All these like fears. It always comes from being afraid of what you can't see. Of course, you're going to be afraid of an invisible person, and like the dark. Like it's all kind of like evolutionary fears. These are useful fears if you were an animal who couldn't think very clearly. You know what I mean? Like animals are cautious in the dark because if they weren't, they would die. you know? So if you're a kid, a human child, sitting like trying to go to bed, you're sitting in your bed, but it's dark. Like you're afraid of what's under your bed and what's in your closet because it's like your primal fears. That's all what like an irrational fear is, right? It's like your survival instincts. You don't want to be in the dark because there could be monsters. So you're sort of thinking because why do all kids feel that way? Not all kids, but like that's what you're kind of envisioning like your what can kill you. And I feel like maybe a wild animal is kind of envisioning the same thing, something that can kill them. You don't think that you know like you're not afraid of baby chicken jumping out of your closet to kill you. It's something scary. It's something with big teeth and something like monstrous. Monsters aren't real, except maybe monsters are real. If I have a kid, that's what I'm going to tell. I'm going to tell that little guy. If he's scared, like, oh, I'm afraid of under my bed or in my closet, I'm not going to turn the light on. We'll get you a night light. I'm going to explain to him in a way that he will understand. Like, what are you afraid of? I'm afraid of monsters. Monsters are real. That's what I would say to him. Monsters are real, sport. Yeah. And he's going to be like terrified. They're real? Yeah, they're real. Good night. No, I'm just kidding. I would say they're like if a monster was real, buddy, don't you think it'd be classified as an animal? So a bear is a monster. A shark is a monster. Do you think there's a shark in your closet? That's embarrassing, and that will work perfectly on little Tev Jr., right? Yeah, do you think there's a bear under your bed, buddy? You don't really think that, do you? Okay, well, I'm afraid of something. I'm afraid of ghosts. Oh, now you're afraid of ghosts. Well, you're no son of mine. If you're afraid of ghosts, hmm, don't you think there would be some science, some piece of technology to view ghosts? Ghosts aren't real, buddy. Oh, okay. Thank you. I get it now. See, there you go. It's that easy. I'm like half joking here. But is it not that simple? Because I mean that this is a made up straw man child, but there's actually adults, you know? So if you can believe in like a uh this incorporeal is that the word? This being that's invisible. Sometimes it can move objects, sometimes it's not invisible. Like the lore of ghosts, like it's inconsistent, you know? If this were like a RPG series or like a movie, I would lose interest. I can't follow this. I can't follow this ghost lore, okay? So it's just like, okay, I'm just not gonna believe this. I'm not gonna believe this theory. The ghost theory. It's just not it's not clicking with me. You know, it's like astrology. Astrology or astronomy? It's astrology, right? They're really trying to pull that as science. I'm a Scorpio, which means I really don't like star signs because people they ask in the past. I don't really hang out with many people who talk about star signs anymore, but it's like, "Oh, what star sign are you?" You know? Like, obviously, like, especially, like, early impression and, like, people are talking about, like, ghosts and shit. It's like, I'm not gonna I don't wanna talk about this. I can't talk about this unless I'm just gonna be a liar and be like, "Oh, yeah, ghosts. I have tons of stories." You know what I mean? They'd probably like me more, to be honest, if I made a bunch of stories. You can't disprove my stories. Yeah, if you want people to like you, just make up ghost stories. That's so easy, you know? Unless it's like then it picked me up. I was on the ceiling. I was stuck to the ceiling, and the ghost was like, "Ooh, return the slab." What was it? Return the slate. What is that? Courage the Cowardly Dog reference. Anyway, so it seems like I'm shy. You know, I'm sometimes I'm a quiet person anyway. You know, seemingly secretive and private, like a Scorpio. Or I think that's what they are. Sometimes it feels like a Scorpio is just defined as whoever's an asshole, which I don't like. Anyway, you know, we're all going around the room. Oh, what's your star sign? Scorpio. Oh my God, I knew it. You are Scorpio. Even though some people would say that no matter what you say. I'm just going to start lying. Next time someone asks me, what star sign are you? I'm going to say Libra because technically I am a Libra. Because if you look at the 13th star sign, which is a thing, you know, where like the star signs, it's not just made up. Like it has some scientific significance. I think I haven't looked into it myself, but let me look up the 13th star sign. It moves around all the dates, or like I don't know. I don't really know how it works, but I heard that that makes me a Libra. Uh, I don't know how to say the word. Let me hold on. This will work. Ophiuchus. All right. Well, that's in there somewhere. That makes me a Libra, right? So they're gonna say, I'm just dying for someone to ask what star sign I am. I tell you what, you know, they're going, what star sign are you? I'm a Libra. I just knew it. I knew you were a Libra. Yeah, because I if I were born a couple months later, I'd be an Ophiuchus or whatever. What is that? That's the other star sign they discovered. Because it is a science, remember? It is the study of space, astrology, or astronomy. It's astrology, right? That's not real. You know, just that's not real. That's what they would say. But like, imagine, you know, who discovered the black hole, right? Who discovered that? Was it like Einstein or something? Who just like discovered there's got to be black holes? Did he go to the other scientists and they just say, "What? That's not real." No, that doesn't make sense. I don't know. To me, it sounds like they're kind of admitting that they know it's not real and they just want to do uh, their little make believe thing, and like I'm not saying it's evil. I'm not saying it's bad, but at the same time, I feel like I cut myself off earlier because I was trying to get to this point. If you can believe that the um the planets can zap into your brain with their energy force and influence your actions, why not believe anything? Why not believe? There's people who think that half the celebrities alive today are clones that have taken over the old one. The same with like political figures. There's lizard people, all that stuff. Okay. There's endless podcasts and radio shows about conspiracy theories and, lizard people and demons have infected the government. No. But of course, nobody wants to listen to the guy who says, actually, those aren't real. It's such in poor taste to say, actually, that is insane. And that's weird. You are the weird one for believing such things, like the Mandela effect, multiverse theory. But the guy who's pointing out that no, that's wrong, who's me. I don't know. I don't say these things to people, so I actually don't know the reaction. But either way, people should try believing in things that are real. Yeah. Take it from my son. He believes real things. I taught him right. He's not scared of anything. hmm He's scared of bears and sharks. That's the only thing. And lizard people and demons and all those things. I would actually, you know what I really want, guys? I want the Home Button podcast to get very popular. Not for my success or fame. I want what I like crave, what I thrive on is reactions and comments. I love reading comments. I love it so much. Sometimes I put out a video. I said, please leave a comment. And sometimes, did I mention this before? That's this entire podcast. The theme is, did I talk about this before? And things aren't real. You think things are real, but they're not. That's the whole theme today here. I mentioned leave a comment, I say leave a comment, and then people say, because they're just used to other YouTubers, they want the fame, they want the success. I want reactions. I say leave a comment, and they say, what do they say? Here's your comment. You're welcome. That's their whole comment. Here's your comment. You're welcome. Like, I don't want that. I don't want that. I want you to say something about what I did. I want you to say exactly what's on your mind, I don't want validation. I don't want you to say good job. If you thought I did a good job, you don't have to tell me. Tell me something. Tell me something that I just wouldn't have ever thought about. That's what I like hearing. Maybe that's why people like conspiracy theories, because they get to believe something that's just completely insane. And it's a new thing. It's a new thing to them. If you want to learn a new thing, learn about marine biology. That's fun. Could be a new hobby. Maybe, I don't know, watch a 3-hour video on Elden Ring lore. That'd be fun. Learn something new. You should learn something new every day. All right, here's a challenge for the listener. That's you. You're familiar with the saying that you learn something new every day. I want you to think about that. At the end of the day, tomorrow, and whenever you remember, just when you're going to sleep, think about, what did I learn today? Did I learn anything? Because the funny thing is, you don't need to, like, intelligence and knowledge, it's kind of arbitrary. It's kind of arbitrary, especially IQ tests. Like, being smart shouldn't get wrapped up in what's smart and what's not. Okay, I just want to make it clear. It's not about getting smarter. It's just about learning something new. Again, you can watch an Elden Ring lore video. That's what I'm saying. Like, that's a type of just, what'd you learn today? Did you learn? Just make sure you do new things. Okay, don't just spend all day playing Apex. That's not good for your brain. Play a new game. Play Valorant. I don't really care. Just, there was a time where I was just playing Team Fortress 2. every day. I didn't learn anything new because I didn't do anything new. It was play one game. I absorbed one piece of entertainment, which was Team Fortress 2. But you know what's funny? I would still. I mean, that's a good game. You do kind of learn something new every time you play, but maybe not with you know Fortnite. Well, Fortnite's always adding stuff. What a great game! I never played it. I played it twice and I got Battle Victory Royale both times or whatever it's called. I'm a gamer. I'm a gamer. I can't help it. Anyway, I just want to end with this about intelligence. Um, it's weird to me. What's seen as smart that's not actually smart? I want to give a couple examples. Knowing the capital of every city in the country, that's not smart. That's not smart at all. If anybody tried to pass that off as smart to me, mm, I don't know what I would do. I've been threatening a lot of people in this episode of the Home Button Podcast. I hope I don't get in trouble. But I'm on a different account now. I can say whatever I want. We can say whatever the hell we want. That's a I think you should leave reference. It's a good show. You should look it up. Ghost Tour. I think you should leave. Look it up, guys. I've already laid it out for you. Anyway, so yeah, I can say whatever the hell I want right now. And what I'm saying is another example. Knowing each U.S. president. This is probably just for the Americans. I don't know if other countries do this, but like you can name from George Washington all the way up to Joe Byron. You're not smart. That's not important. It's geography, anything geography related. Like, who cares if you can name all 50 states in alphabetical order? That doesn't make you smart. You studied it, you memorized it. What do you do with that information? What I'm really impressed by people who can just like solve any problems. That's not me at all. I don't think I'm smart, but I'm not dumb. I know I'm not dumb because I don't believe everything I see and hear. If I was born in the 1800s, I wouldn't be burning witches at the stake. Okay, I'm a skeptic. Being a skeptic does not make you smart, though. That's another thing. That's another thing I want to make clear. You can be a total bitch too. Someone who, like, it's not about. There are some people who think they are better because they don't believe in such things. That's not me, guys. Don't get it twisted, please. That's not me. I don't believe in ghosts. All right? Don't crucify me. Okay? I'm sorry. I just don't. I believe in sleep paralysis demons. You know, it would have been kind of nice if I was born in the future where the internet was around and maybe my parents could look up what sleep paralysis is. Like, what are they going to read a book about it? Are they going to see it on a news channel? Sleep paralysis can actually happen in your child. I don't know what like. No, they thought it was a ghost. They thought it was a demon or something. I don't believe in ghosts. You know, it's weird. Like, when you're a kid, you grow out of at some point believing in monsters and ghouls and stuff like that, especially like in the dark. And then as an adult, you learn that it's outlandish to think a monster is in my closet or there's a ghoul under my bed. But sometimes it's. I know there are people. It's in the back of their mind. Their foot is by their bed. Like they got 1 foot off the bed and they think that what if something grabs me? So you just pull it up just to be safe. You don't really think it's gonna happen, right? But you have a foot hanging off the bed, and just because you thought of it, I remember doing this like when I was younger. You think about it, and you just put your leg back up. Just it's not gonna happen, but it's I'm trying to go to bed. I'm not trying to worry about that. You feel so much better once you just leave it hang there. Let your foot hang over the bed. Nothing's gonna grab your ankles. If something grabs your ankles, what's it gonna do? Let's say it's a ghoul. Is it gonna maul you to death? Have you ever heard a news story about, yeah, this full-grown, mature, smart adult. Yeah, he was found just completely ripped to pieces under his bed. Must have been another ghoul attack. You know what I mean? Sons of guns, you know? This is just I'm using my, very popular influence to let you know, just be safe out there. Don't be easily fooled. We're not living in the Matrix, guys. Oh, I didn't even touch on that. I didn't even touch about how the world is a simulation, you know? You know what? Maybe it is. Maybe it is. But, you're a gamer, right? You must be a gamer. Have you ever taken, your game seriously? You ever played Animal Crossing and you ever felt like, I'm so obsessed with this game, if my save got deleted, I would, go on a violent rampage. Have you thought about that? You're a gamer, so you must have thought about going on a violent rampage or two. If I woke up from the Matrix and it was like Zion from the movie and I had to eat like slop, if I had to eat you know, uh goop, yeah, put me back in. What am I going to do? What am I going to do now that I'm part of the Matrix resistance living in Zion? Like it's just more likely that we're not living in a simulation. It's just more likely. And like the point I'm getting at is I'm already like all set up here. I got like you don't erase my progress. I'm in the middle of something, you know? Like come on. No, I want to wake up from the Matrix. Like you're living a lie. You're living in a fantasy world if you think you're in the Matrix, okay? And it's really annoying that people try to disprove. And like if you imply that no, like if you say to someone, "No, you're not in the Matrix. I'm not an NPC." There are people who joke about NPCs existing in real life, and there's people who actually believe that there are background actors in the real world. Because you try to like to the point where like they're starting to get like a little disturbing or like destructive because they don't think anything is real. That's not good. I don't want to live in a real world with real people who think that I'm not real. That's not good. Because I played GTA 5. I know they're not real. I know what I do to those people. Anyway, but they know in the back of their head that it's real. That's the thing. So anyway, my point is the thing I've been trying to say for like 2 minutes. You try to reason with these people, and they just instantly consider you. They shoot you down as just oh, you're one of them. You're an Agent Smith. You're an Agent Smith trying to keep me in the Matrix. You can have all your blue pills you want. I took a red pill. Okay. If you really want to wake up, try not thinking that we're in a movie. Okay. Like, if you want to sound more credible, stop calling it The Matrix. Call it a simulation. Just don't acknowledge The Matrix anymore because that is a movie. And obviously, they know it's a movie, but they think it's based on real life or something, Or I don't know what they think. Guys, I'm out of here. I've been going overtime for you guys. I'm already past an hour. This is supposed to be an hour long. No, I better expect some support, guys. I went overtime, so you better support me. What's that guy? Who's that impression of? That YouTuber? What's his name? He plays Zelda. He's funny. He's so funny. Because I can't tell if he's doing a character or not. He just gets so frustrated at the game he's playing. I'm inspired by him. I'm gonna make some videos like him. Now, I've been playing this game. It doesn't make any sense. Like he's like 50 hours in the game and he hasn't upgraded any armor. Well, it tells me I need to find the Moblin horns, but I'm not able to find any Moblin horns. And then he looks at the map at his past like locations. You can see the path. Hero's Path mode is what it's called. And he only goes on the roads. He doesn't explore anything. Of course, you're not going to find any Moblins on the road. Well, it wants me to upgrade it, but I can't. Well, sorry, I can't spend 200,000 hours playing the game for you guys. I have things to do. I can't be doing this. I love that guy. And I don't care if he's doing an act or not. Like Nikado Avocado. Did I talk about him earlier in this podcast? Now I can't even remember what I talked about currently in this podcast. Nikado Avocado is an artist. He makes art. Not because of his content. I did talk about him, right? Oh my God. Oh my God. Ah! I'm out, guys. Goodbye. Did I talk about him? I think I started to, and I think I cut myself off. The guy's an artist because of the reactions he gets from people. That's the art, not his content, not eating. I did talk about him. Yes. I'm back around thinking about that. Okay. Yeah. Matrix is glitching, guys. I'm sorry. What a great dodge of responsibility, I feel like I consider myself a responsibility dodger, but I'm not going to regress into an alternate reality. That is so annoying. You got to stay here too with us, buddy. Okay. Jeez. You think in a couple years people are going to stop doing that? Or do you think in a couple years people are going to stop saying lizard people and start saying scrolls? Scrolls? Scrolls from the Marvel Cinematic Universe. They're just going to say they're real. Imagine Matrix did come out and people did think it was they were so inspired by it that they believed that it was fake. Are you that impressionable? People come out of Batman thinking they're Batman too. Doesn't mean you're Batman. When I walked out of Batman, I was Batman. Nobody knew. Only I knew. You can't tell people you're Batman. It's going to blow your cover. Okay? Anyway. Point is, I'm Batman. And I saw The Flash. Batman was in it. Thanks for listening to the Home Button Podcast. I'm your host, Tevlev. And big shouts out to my co-host, Tevlev. Thank you for the shout out. I appreciate it. You're welcome, buddy. Don't call me buddy. Why? We're buddies. No, we're not. I'm going to punch you. Dude, relax, man. This is so cringe. Anyway, extra shouts out to the viewer. That's you. Catch you next week for another installment of the Home Button Podcast. Can somebody make I'm like an old person. I'm like a grandparent. You're trying to leave, just hold on a second, guys. I have something else to say here, fellas. Do you think it'd be cool if somebody could start a podcast called the Home Button Podcast to discuss the Home Button Podcast? That's not a bad idea. No one's going to do that, so I'm going to have to do it. Yeah, that's a good idea. I've wanted to start a podcast in Discord with just voice memos for a while. And the only way to listen to it is if you you have to sit there and go through each one. And it's anybody can join in. That's a funny idea. That's a hilarious idea. Just make a channel called Podcast. I'm so smart. I'm so genius. Thank you for listening. I'll catch you on the flip side. What's the most cringe? Goodbye. Okay. Here I go. Start with a new thing, a new topic here. What's the most cringe goodbye? Signing off, signing out. This has been your host, Tevlev, the host of Home Button Podcast. Signing off. Signing out or signing off? You know what's weird, guys? I feel like in 2002, it was a lot more normal to see on websites where you could log in somewhere to see sign on. There's a sign in, sign out, and then sign on and sign off. You would see that. But I'm with a bank. I'm a customer at a bank, and they use sign on and log off or something. It's inconsistent. I'm thinking, why would they do that? What is the purpose of having such weird, inconsistent visual language? It makes no sense. That's all the time I have today, guys. This has been your host and co-host Tevlev, the gaming master. I would like to this. This is it. This is it. This is it. This is the last thing I'm going to say here. Leave a comment. What should I talk about? Make a whole podcast topic list for me. I'll talk about anything. Okay, guys, we're on the second channel here. This is the Wild West.